try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. Your check is I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft, you can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
right, guys, what's going on? And welcome to the RabidMining YouTube channel. Today we got a special guest, Mr. the one and only Max Voltage. Say hi, Max.
How you guys doing? Good to be here.
He's already laughing. What's going on, Fudweiser? What's with the wow? Oh, I messed up. Whenever I say Fudweiser's name, Max, if you're not sure, I have to put an echo into it. So, Fudweiser. Yeah, that's the thing.
I was not aware of that. I try to get there's a particular person that's on the Saturday Night Live streams, Brian Hollywood, and I'm like, how do you just say Brian Hollywood? You got to be like Brian Hollywood. You got to do something with that name. I mean, geez.
Yeah, for sure. And then whenever I mess something up, like everybody's name, which I always mess up, I have a little fail tally button here, so we see how many fails I get throughout a stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that.
fun
That's
stuff. But yeah, we'll spin that intro before we actually get into everything. We already forgot that part. All right, there we go. I think we're caught up on everything. So let's roll through this. Let's do a quick roll call, see what we got going on here, how many fails we're going to have off the get-go. We got Mr. Rud Potts, Throsgard, Kryptonic, Mike Baldwin. What's this name? Thrashera Mana Peru. I don't even know. So that's an automatic fail. Where's my button? Okay, sorry for butchering your name, but I got to fail myself. Crypto Bedell, Dave Collins, Mato Pisala. Oh my gosh, we're already on to a rough start here. Michael Jess, Mr. One and Only Fudweiser. We got Rud Potts. Rud Putts again, Fudweiser, scrolling through and I messed up. Taylor Brown, Michael Jess, Alexander Fleener, Kyle Ross, Michael Jess again. Oh, there's Max Voltage. Say hi to Max Voltage, everybody. Michael Jess, Hugo Down, what's going on? Taylor Brown, Daniel Molaya Slater. Oh my gosh, I am very horrible with names. Oofer, what's going on? What's happening? Fully Electric, welcome. What's happening? Mohammed is mail. Is that right? Mail, as in like sending mail to people. Tony Magna, the Mag. The EVGA FTW, what's happening? Michael Jess, Dennis Matovich again, Nicholas Pitts, Mike Baldwin, Tony Magna. We're going through a whole bunch of names over again. You guys are just chatting away. Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. I love that name. It's awesome. And it just jumps. So if I missed anybody, I'm just going to give myself 2 quick fails and you can yell at me. Awesome. So here we are. We got Mr. Max Voltage. We're going to talk about, Ethereum mining. The difficulty bomb has gone off. Some people aren't too sure how the difficulty bomb really works. So Max Voltage can point that stuff out to you as well. And other things. So let's just start at the start. Max, how long ago did this difficulty bomb actually go off?
Well, again, because it starts extremely slow, it's really hard to identify exactly the moment it went off. But from what I've seen is from the charts, it's about 2 weeks ago. I mean, we've gone from about an average of about 13 seconds up to about 13.3, 13.4. So you're only talking a couple percent difference in the block time. So before let me kind of expand upon that. And that is, people wonder what the difficulty bomb is versus regular difficulty. So regular difficulty leaves the block times exactly the same. It just makes everything difficult by the way the algorithm works. With the difficulty bomb, it builds in an artificial difficulty by increasing the block times. So regular difficulty doesn't hurt the blockchain. It doesn't hurt it at all. The same number of transactions can get through. What people don't know is you hear the difficulty bomb and you're thinking about it from the standpoint of the miner, but this is a negative from the mining perspective, but also negative from the chain perspective, because you're going to have less transactions go through because you have longer block times. So that's basically what the difficulty bomb is. It just increases the block times exponentially over time. So it starts out very, very, very small, where it's imperceptible. You can't perceive that it actually is kicked in. And then as it starts, you can start to see it. You can see it if you're looking at the charts, but you really don't perceive much of a difference. It's kind of lost in the noise. But once we start getting to like 14 seconds and 15 seconds, that's when that's when you really start to kind of feel it a little bit, where we'll see less in the way of payouts. I have noticed, I mean, I was getting with my 2 gigahash, I was getting about 0.028 a day, and I've now gone below that. I'm about 0.027 to 0.0275 a day. So I did notice that. I'm like, oh, I guess the hash rate went up. And then I looked at the hash rate hasn't gone up. So that's when I was like, oh, yep, that's the little bit of the difficulty bomb that has kicked in. So anyway, that's the short and long story of it.
Yeah, very interesting. Like if we look back in time here at October 14th, 2017, we could see it hit 30 seconds. So if we're sitting normally around, 14 to 15 seconds of that's 4 blocks per minute. So at 30 seconds, that's only 2 blocks per minute. In theory, that's 50% less in terms of, profitability there. So
yeah,
that's a big number.
Think about it from a standpoint of, okay, you have bread in the store. You have 100 loaves of bread. You have people that want that bread. Well, if you cut the amount of bread in half, that there's less, guess what? People are like, oh, shoot, I need bread. And they hoard. I mean, think about the whole toilet paper thing at the beginning of the pandemic. Kind of a decent example of that, but that was just craziness because people for some reason thought we were going to run out of toilet paper or whatever. But, bottom line is it's just standard supply and demand. You decrease the supply with the same demand, the price is going to go up, which means fees are going to go up for people who are trying to make transactions, which again isn't good for the blockchain. It will increase deflation for Ethereum because you're going to have higher fees. There's going to be more burning going on. But bottom line is, this is the one thing that absolutely drove me nuts about the call yesterday, which was you had 4 people, very good heads. It was Micah. I can't think of the guy's name who they brought in specifically to talk about the difficulty bomb, and 2 other very, very respective devs. And they all said, let's just extend it, be done with it, and let's get back to work, was in essence what they said. Let's get rid of this distraction and let's just get to work. Doesn't matter. Let's eliminate all the outside noise. Yes, people will think it means one thing. We don't care. We're devs. We don't care. Let's just get the work done, get rid of the noise.
Yeah. Like people will be like, oh, it's extended. But coming from a dev standpoint, they want to just say, okay, put it to the year. And if we're ready to merge beforehand, we can just drop the merge. And we don't have to worry about this whatsoever.
Exactly. And honestly, the one guy I really respect in that group is Micah. He, there's a bunch of things going through my mind, but I'm not going to say them on air. I don't want to demonetize your stream. But, bottom line is that he doesn't care what other people think. He's just going to say what he thinks. Yeah. And I really respect that about him, because anybody who's listened to these calls drives me nuts. Well, I think this, but, I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. They don't have strong opinions about anything according to what they say. Nobody does. And I know that's not true. Come on, have an opinion, put a stake in the ground, say what you believe, and that's how you're going to get things done. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. That's basically saying they don't want to die on a hill to back this particular thing. They've seen what happens to people that back a particular thing and then really want to die on that hill, and they basically get pushed out of the program. So that's my opinion. I've seen guys that have done that, and then I don't hear from them. I don't see them in the dev calls anymore. So I don't know if they leave on their own accord because they're just frustrated, or if they're pushed out. One or the other. It doesn't seem like they're around anymore.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out though is everyone was expecting, the difficulty bomb not to even go off till about June. That's when the original timing was. So why did it go off before that?
Well, they have a history of saying, well, the difficulty bomb is going to happen here. But what they really mean is that's basically when it's going to start to really have an effect. Yeah. So I know it makes me crazy because what was that?
It says, yeah. So it's pretty much the only thing that the devs are actually early with.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's disingenuous, I guess, a bit to say that, well, it's going to go off here. Every time the difficulty bomb has gone off. It has always gone off before they said that it was going to. I mean, if you look at, remember when they did the last extension in December, the difficulty bomb had gone off in October. If you look at, you can see that chart that you had up, you can see that there was a small number of increase in block times. It wasn't huge. Like again, go out right there. Yep, right there. That is where it went up. Yeah, and you can see it went up about a month. And again, it's very small compared to those other times, but it still is off. I mean, it still has kicked in.
That's true.
So anyway, but yeah, it's just
also there's other factors that obviously come into play with that. Like what is it? Like when they extend this, sometimes it's upwards of 6 months. So depending on hash rate that's coming in, coming off, the blocks are going to be found. You know, a lot of miners come in quick. A couple blocks will be found faster than usual. And if miners pull off quick, then obviously it slows down some of the blocks to have that difficulty adjust. So those little factors can come into timing on their timeline as well.
Correct. Anytime you're adjusting the amount of hash rate, yeah. And right now, I mean, we've definitely seen it kind of go above and below 1 petahash. You know, last time I checked yesterday, it looked like it was slightly below 1 petahash.
29th, it says 1.04.
Yep.
And then
go back to where the down spot is, like just before that.
Right there. March 7th.
Oh, I guess that's 1.032.
92.
Yeah, I was going by WhatToMine, where it was showing how much the hash rate was, and it was like 976 yesterday.
WhatToMine has an average, so like, I guess you can adjust it to whatever. Because if we go to WhatToMine, do I even have? I don't have it up here. What? That's weird. Oh, there it is. But like right now, they're saying 1.03. Yesterday, you're right. Actually, yeah, you're right. Yesterday they were saying like 970 or something. But
yeah,
a lot of people come into here and they just look at the average. So I think we actually, if you put it to current profits as well as current values, like let's see, 1451. I don't even know what I'm set at. Well, it's up a little bit, but oh wait, never mind, I messed that up. Now it's saying 982, so I did something wrong. But there's different things you can change that can get it to where it's actually at right now. I don't know what they are though. What do we got in the chat? Having people talking about D-miners. Have a good day. Someone said they're Lenovo, I can never say that, but they're A2000 shipped. I want to point out that I got the same email that mine actually shipped as well early this morning. I ordered them back in like February, so that's crazy. But yeah,
hey D-miners, if you're here, thanks for showing up, appreciate it.
D-miners, oh, Max says thank you. 10 fails. Over Max's face. 10 fails over. That's exactly where my thing is here, right on Max's face. Let's go 10. There we go. Probably did at least that. But let's kind of go over. So we're going to open up this. Guys, then we're going to kind of talk about could be the late. Let's open this up bigger. Kind of go through some. Let's look at this.
Make a call about pushing back or not from discussions.
You guys hear that?
Yeah, we had some chats about like the difficulty bomb.
Let me know in the comments as you're watching this what you guys think.
That makes sense.
That's later.
One thing I'll also share from discussions at DevConnect is we had some chats about like the difficulty bomb and like when should we actually make a call about pushing back or not. And it seems, and this stuff is really hard to estimate, so please don't quote me on this.
They don't have any more volume on the vid. That's as loud as they talk. And then some guys are like, oh my super God, loud.
So quiet.
So I don't know. I can't adjust any volume. So I don't know. You guys will have to turn it up on your end.
If I'm wrong, but it seems like, you know, we can probably get to like late May, June.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is adjust it in OBS.
And then,
you can turn up desktop time, but that's going to turn me up.
You know, in the past, we've managed to like ship difficulty bomb.
And you'd be way loud.
In a few weeks when needed. So my feeling from talking with like different client teams in Amsterdam was like, it seems like it would be better to like wait, you know, try to say, you know, move forward and move to the test nets and start running through them without necessarily doing anything about the bomb. And then if we get to like late May, June, so like 2-3 calls from now, and we see that like we're not moving forward on the test nets either because we found some issues or things are slower than expected. We can coordinate a bomb pushback pretty quickly then, but not basically not even thinking about it and being able to move a bit quicker in the short run would be better. Does anyone strongly oppose that?
Anybody? Anybody at all?
This is Jay Rush.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, you wanna share your screen and walk us through your charts? That's what I've been using, and I think it's
Well, I was going to say, I think that it would be unfortunate to make a mistake there as far as getting into a situation where you have to force yourself to delay the bomb. I'm sure everybody understands that. But let me just share this one chart, and I think you can see pretty clearly from the.
If you want me to pause it at any time, Max, to pull out a point, just let me know.
I can't actually hear it.
You can't hear it at all?
No, what I'm doing is, remember, I can't listen to it because it will come through the speakers. That's why I'm getting out headphones right now.
Gotcha. All right, well, let me know when your headphones are on.
Okay. Tell I usually don't do this very much because I'm usually.
No. Hey, that's fine. I feel like at work. ETH is an established coin, petahash of mining. Yeah, it's a lot of hash rate. ETH has an astonishing amount of hash rate. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the effects when Ethereum is gone is definitely going to be felt. If I know that everyone reaped this live stream, then I wouldn't look at live. The ETH devs also sound a little scared to say what they really think. Yeah, you know that they're in the middle of a boat here. They got traders and investors on one side and they got miners on the other. So they got to kind of cater to the investors without getting the miners too mad at the same time. So like, we don't know. They could definitely extend everything. They could extend it for 2 years for all we know, but we're only going to get bits and pieces like 3 months out of a time. They're not going to say, you know, we're not ready till this date or something. They're going to say, you know what? We need a little more time. We need a little more time. We need a little more time. And that's pretty much all we're ever going to hear out of them. So we're always kind of fiddled like a carrot in front of a horse's nose. Aragon, I'm late an ETH hater. They make the boom. Your headset on?
I have it on now.
All right, let's continue with what Thomas is telling us.
Chart, how quickly the bomb goes off once it goes off. So is everybody seeing this?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're here. I was concerned last week that it wouldn't show up because the hash rate was higher, but it is starting to show up. This is as of now, as of about an hour ago. So it is starting to show up. These are the last two bombs here, and we delayed them in plenty of time for them to actually affect the block time. So here's 14-second blocks. But this one was the one where we kind of forgot to set it. And we kind of had to react really quickly here because there was two hard forks right after each other. I think they were about a month apart. So this is about a month, and it just literally drops off the cliff. So, and here you can see it just drops off the cliff. And this is exactly what the bomb does. So this red line is June 15th. Which was when we thought we were setting it back here in December. And it looks to me like it's getting ready to drop off the cliff to me. I'm just looking at this. Now, I never wanted to predict the future because predicting the future of this thing is hard. But I can see that we're getting to the point where it might start dropping off the cliff. So I want to just say that out loud.
It's hard.
I want you to be careful. I would rather see
math, people.
Guys, at least pick a date to say we are going to make a decision about picking a date by this day. You know, say May 15th, we're definitely going to have a decision about whether we're going to delay it or not. Because you don't want to get to the place where you're forced to delay it because it went from 18-second blocks to 22-second blocks in a 2-week period. That's what I would say.
Right, and I think I think we'd probably make that call much before we hit like 18 seconds. I think, that has to be pretty low. But I guess because there is kind of this chance that we might actually be able to ship the entire upgrade without moving back the bomb. Probably waiting until we're in the like 14-ish second range, maybe 15, to see like how we're feeling about this. And
So are they still trying to say that they could potentially have the merge ready by sometime mid-June? Is that what they're saying there? They want to figure it out still, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why they're hemming and hawing about this is an indication to me that they are thinking that they might not have to make this delay because they feel like they're close. So that is the bad news for miners. This is that indication. If it was clear, oh my God, we're not anywhere close. We might as well delay this until December. So there is that part of it, no question. But here's the other aspect. If they can't even decide something as simple as delaying the difficulty bomb, how are they going to decide when this thing's ready to be merged? That's a lot more complicated of a decision.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. They're all up in the air, but it's crazy. But it does sound like, they think they may be close, which is very interesting. So I don't know. It's crazy what's going to be happening here soon.
I mean, right now you have, honestly, you have too many cooks in the kitchen without really one person having say. So if you notice, Tim kind of has what he says goes. Yeah. So there is that, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't give me a warm fuzzy about the direction of Ethereum. Honestly, this should be something that they should all be pulling together. There should be a set criteria, and this is one thing that Micah brought up. He's like, and it comes in further on down this call, but he's like, how about we look at what we think is going to be too long of a block time, and we back into that, saying, okay, we think that's going to happen about here. We're going to go backwards and figure out where we need to actually make a decision on setting the bomb. And I was like, that's an excellent idea. I thought that was like honestly unarguable. How can you argue against that? And he's like, well, Tim said, well, the acceptable block time is going to be different depending on how close we are to the merge. I get that, but set that time thinking that it's still infinitely in the future. When you get to that block time where you have to set the difficulty bomb date, you can then say, hey, we're a lot closer. We're now comfortable with this number. It is a moving target, but at least have an actual target as to, at this point, we have to make a decision if we need to increase that amount. If we don't want to increase that amount, then gosh darn it, okay, the difficulty bomb delay is going to be happening in 3 weeks because they have to schedule out the hard fork.
Mm-hmm. And in the end, though, the whole difficulty bomb thing, that's probably how they're going to phase out mining altogether, isn't it? Is that why they're also at the same time trying to make sure they're kind of close so that it makes mining it doesn't make sense to mine it if it's going to take 2 days to get a block?
Well, yes. And yeah, that's basically what they do at merge is they set the difficulty bomb. This is like that block. This is what happens. It basically, for proof of work, the difficulty increases to the total difficulty. So the blockchain keeps track of the total difficulty from the start of Ethereum all the way throughout history. So all of a sudden you will have the difficulty of however many blocks that Ethereum is mined in its history added together to become the total difficulty. So it will I don't know, like 13,000 blocks in a month, I believe. and multiply that times however many months. I mean, you're talking probably close to, 500, at least 500. I mean, I'm not doing the math in my head, but let's say about 1 million times harder than it was the block before. It will take an inordinate amount of time at 100% luck to actually mine a block. Is it theoretically possible that somebody could mine a block within the next 12 seconds? Yes. The odds of that happening are extremely remote, which means it will just go on to that next chain of staking and proof of stake and just continue from there at that point.
So you're saying there's a chance? No, I'm just kidding.
Right, yes. Yeah, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly what I thought when I heard that. So there was a podcast that Tim Biko was on where he actually explained this, and the person was trying to lock him down to, so when the merge, because that's what everybody wants to know. And he's like, I've made the mistake of making predictions in the past. I'm not doing it anymore. And if you talk to anybody in the All Core Devs group, when asked, they say the merge will happen when it happens. That is their now every response to whenever that question is asked. The only person I think you might hear something a little bit different is Vitalik. He has a tendency to hang himself at times with some of his responses, because then everybody else has to kind of respond and cover for some things that he says. And I'm not saying what he says is wrong. I'm saying from a marketing perspective, they want to put a muzzle on him at times.
Yeah, they have a high paid PR team for him.
Yeah, they really don't have much of a PR team at all. I mean, you look at a lot of these projects that are out there, and some of them are all marketing, but some of them have good marketing and good technology. And but yeah, Ethereum is all based on the fact that it's gotten to where it is because it was first, and it has good technology behind it.
Yeah, but like, to put it into kind of a mentality where people could kind of understand that, it's like, say, take the Bitcoin network and taking one of those USB miners and trying to hit a solo block against all them ASICs. That's how having, say, you could have the full Ethereum chain the way it is right now, mining Ethereum still, but those are the chances that you're going to have to even finding one single block compared against POS.
Yeah.
Theory.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, that's exactly. It's a matter of how, it's basically thinking of, you have a infinitesimal amount of hash rate compared, you're competing against, in this case, you're competing against that difficulty.
Mm-hmm. And then, obviously the other way gets better. So let's continue on, see what these guys have to keep telling us. Remember, it comes later on in the video, but does sound like they have no issues with block times getting higher. They have no issues as long as it stays something below 30 seconds.
I heard that, and no, I don't think that's what they were saying. I think what they were saying is pick a number. They put this number out there because they didn't want anybody to think what the number was. Everybody believes 30 seconds is too long. So he put that number out there as, nobody wants 30-second blocks, but what should it be? Some people have said 18 to 20-second blocks is still okay as long as we don't get beyond that. But again, the bottom line is that anytime you affect the economics, the tokenomics of a coin, you're going to have in this particular case, a detrimental effect.
Oh yeah, gas fees through the roof. Transactions getting slower because there's less blocks or longer block periods, and it affects everything. But it's kind of interesting about the little poke, which still didn't come up in this video. I believe it's a little poke they did at the miners where they said we should just let it go off and leave it as to an X point, obviously not too high, like you said, the 30-second, just to be a wake-up call for everyone. These things are coming.
Definitely that, and I don't necessarily, from a mining perspective, I don't disagree with that. Think about what happened with 1559. 1559, the fees came way down. right before 1559. I don't know if that was manipulated or not, but it wasn't a bad thing. We had just huge amounts of hash rate increase. Nobody was paying any attention to what was going on with 1559. Everybody was still in a buying frenzy. And all of a sudden, everything came down as far as profitability as a result of the fees coming down. And if you look at what the hash rate did at that point, it slowed down. It was still increasing, but it slowed down. It made everybody kind of go, huh, is this what it's going to be like? Yeah, this is what it's going to be like. So, and then of course, 1559 came, and then about 2 weeks after that, the fees went back up.
Yeah, very interesting.
That is, if you look at it from the outside of what happened with 1559, to me, it looks manipulated. I'm not saying it was a bad manipulation at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying, to me, it looks like it was manipulated.
Oh, some of the block fees after 1559 got to some of the all-time highest blocks.
Exactly.
Like huge.
It was almost like, hey guys, we're heading up to 1559. Don't do anything fun or important on the blockchain. No NFT drops, no this, no that. We need the blockchain to have low demand heading into 1559. Again, didn't hear it talked about or anything, but that's what actually happened. There was low demand on the blockchain. That's why fees were low. But the timing was quite interesting.
Quite sketchy.
Like I said, I won't say sketchy. I would say against like just letting things happen. Honestly, like I said, you couldn't have had a better situation. And honestly, this is why I also think about it this way is remember who was advocating that you could have a specific situation where you have decreased security on the network. If you had low fees, that was not a risk at all. So by BBT putting that EIP together in the first place may have woke some people up to say, hey, let's work in the background. Let's just make sure this doesn't happen to protect the blockchain. Like I said, I'm not saying any of this was necessarily bad by manipulating. I'm saying that kind of against the whole ethos of let whatever happens, happens. But again, it definitely protected the blockchain to make sure that what BBT had predicted could happen wouldn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Everything seems kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. Too much of a coincidence.
Yeah. Too good to be true. And all right, so let's continue on here and see what these guys have to tell us.
And then, and then that means, by the time we coordinate, it takes maybe a period or two, and we end up like maybe in the like 17-ish, 18-second range by the time we've pushed it back. So yeah, that's my I don't know, rough like gauge for it. I don't know if that feels reasonable to other
Yeah, I think if you set a date by which you're going to set a date, you say we're going to make a decision by the 3rd week of May or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the risk is just I just don't want to paint us into a corner where we're then forced to act if, say, the bomb is not actually showing up as like we'd expect. So if we do, say we can get like an extra 4 weeks without having to make a decision, or an extra 6, like I think every week where we can delay making that call is valuable to us because it gives us more information on the readiness of the merge. So I guess the best thing we can kind of say is like, today we're far enough from the bomb being an impact that we can at least bump this conversation to another 2 weeks, and then and obviously we'll keep kind of looking at it. But that would be my approach. But Lucas, I see you have your hands up as well.
Just basing on this graph, I would say that we have 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, we should decide if we should move the bomb or not. That looks reasonable for me.
So the 3rd or 4th week of May or something.
So that would be 2 calls. Vitalik?
Yeah, I mean, I think the difficulty bomb is not a chaotic system, right? Like you can analyze it mathematically. There are scripts that have predicted it pretty accurately, and like we do know how it progresses, right? It's like every 100,000 blocks, the difference between the discrepancy between the actual block time and the ideal block time doubles. And that's basically how it just how it keeps going, right? So it's like it is something that we can model. The main unknown variable is basically like hash rate, but even hash rate, like it's not like unknown by some crazy factor of like more than 2 or whatever. So
it's predictable, but it's much easier just to say. I would argue that here it wasn't very well predicted here, but and this thing right here where it recovers, so it goes off and then the hash rate recovers. That is dependent on the hash rate. But I agree with you. It's predictable. I always just predicted the first time, when it really starts going off. I'm saying this is, we're going to start seeing it go off by the time we get here.
Yeah, I mean, basically, like when it breaks 15, then it's pretty clear that it's 100,000 blocks away from breaking 17, and another 100,000 away from breaking 21, and so forth.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's like there's like it is a kind of multivariable problem because like we have to evaluate the pain of doing an extra delay hard fork versus the pain of like living with 21 or 25-second blocks for a while, which is something that we have done, and the world didn't end. So
right.
Yeah, it's,
right. And I even said to Danny Ryan that you should let it get long just to let the world understand that these things can get who has to push the.
So there, just let it get long. Back to that whole situation again. Just a eye open to everybody. This is happening type of thing, wake people up. Is that kind of what they're referring to here?
Yeah, it is. But again, that's very short-sighted. I mean, what about the users? What about the people that use this blockchain? Yeah, let's stick it to the miners. That's not the point, people. That would be like, we are their service providers. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but miners are the service providers to the network. We provide a service. We are paid for that. Well, let's see. If you are appliance service company and you have third-party contracts out to, independents, and you decide that you're just going to lower everybody's pay to stick it to them. Well, what about your customers, the people that actually need to have that fixed? I mean, in this case, the people that are trying to transact on the network, they're basically just giving them a big middle finger. Like, whatever, it honestly, it's like they are in a little bubble of the science around and they honestly, that was one of the kind of, I don't want to really put it as a negative to the guy that said it, because he's kind of the standpoint of, this, he is the science guy. He is not the chain guy, the how do we make this work? How do we make sure we're servicing our customers, make it easier for them to transact on the network? That's not who he is. That's not his responsibility. But there should have been somebody that chimed up to say, no, we can't do that because we have people that are trying to transact on this network, and we need to make sure. And that is the biggest thing that I feel like everybody's losing in this whole thing. This is important to people. This is what they do to trade, to make NFTs, smart contracts. All of these things are major finance at this point. And to just flippantly say, screw you, you'll get it eventually. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it in the future. But for the meantime, you're going to have to deal with some pain. That's what they're saying. Not coming out and saying that, but that's the effects of what they're saying.
Yeah,
and I think honestly, it's pretty sickening in my mind to hear them talk like that.
Yeah, I think they're more frustrated with the way the miners are always trying to push back on them. So I think that was more geared towards all the miners, and they're not really in that statement.
Above that, they need to be above that.
100%.
You know that there's going to be people on both sides. There were people who were advocating for 1559, basically saying miners are stealing, they're doing. No, we're service providers. This is the way it was laid out. It is up to the company, Ethereum, core devs, foundation, whatever, for them to say, hey, the economics has changed. It's no different than this happens all the time. You have a sales guy that has a great year and he makes a ton of money, and somebody up high says, you know what, we don't need to pay him that much, we're going to lower his commission structure. And of course it makes the guy really mad, but at the same time they do it middle ground so that they're still making a lot of money, probably more than they would if they were moving somewhere else. That kind of thing in business happens all the time. That's in essence what 1559 did to miners. We're still making good money, better money than we were making 2 years prior, but we're making less because why does Ethereum have to pay us that much? They don't anymore because of where the coin went. So, again, I know a lot of people don't want to think of a coin as a business, but this is a business, and
100%.
they need to think about it as a business overall and have somebody basically saying, well, and be the voice of reason when people start talking out like that, because it will scare people away from the coin and will lower the value of the coin when you hear people of significant input into the project talk like that.
Yeah, that's another point I usually bring up too in a lot of streams is like, we look back, let's take like the transition of the internet, for example. Before we had Google, we had like Yahoo, Alta Vista, all this stuff, but they would search different parts of the internet. Now, finally, Google came together and pretty much linked up everything. And now all you got to do is search something and it's there like throughout the whole internet. Now, originally, Ethereum, everything came onto Ethereum. We have DeFi, we have NFTs, everything started with Ethereum. But if they don't do everything right, and like you said, these block times, if people start getting turned away from it, we do have platforms like Cardano, Solaris, or Solano and stuff like that could potentially already have better networks. Flux, yeah, exactly. All these other networks are already built for that, better on it. ETH is already ranked one of the top 10 worst in terms of power consumption, everything in general already, based on some charts I've seen. But these other platforms are built faster and cheaper, and people could go to them and literally leave ETH if they keep kind of messing around with them like this. Is that a thing that could happen?
No, it is, but all of those still have issues. So Cardano, its block times are too long. They don't have the capacity. There's a lot of things that need to happen. Now, the next fork that Cardano is going to be on will help to increase, it will increase the capacity of the Cardano network. And so from what I've heard, I follow a guy named Crypto Capital Ventures on YouTube. Definitely, he's a Cardano maximalist. I think unabashedly he, really believes in the project, and says he absolutely loves it. He's involved with it. He runs staking nodes, or staking pools. So he's very involved in it. So yes, it could be kind of like, is he pro it because he's so involved with it, therefore he wants to promote it, so it leads to increase in price? You could say all those things, but I truly believe he believes in it, and he provides great information about Cardano.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, so I listened to him, and he talks about this. So this next hard fork is supposed to increase the capacity of Cardano a lot, which again, now there's a bunch of projects that will be willing to get onto the Cardano network, that they've been waiting for this increase. So you had Sunday Swap that went on to Cardano, but there were all kinds of problems because people were waiting like a week to get their transaction through, because just this one thing with Sunday Swap that everybody was excited about, it just increased the demand on the network tremendously. So they need to increase the capacity before they even think about bringing on anything else. So that's the issue with Cardano. Solano, that one has been not super stable. It's had a few issues. It needs to not have issues for quite a long time before people will trust it again, I believe, or fully trust it again. So both of those definitely could be replacements for Ethereum, or at least supplement Ethereum. So Yeah, there's definitely, and I'm sure there's a bunch of coins behind it that are also looking to do the same thing, including Flux to a certain extent. They're going to have smart contracts on there as well, amongst a number of other things.
The evolution of crypto, though, like we can see, like everything started with Ethereum, but it's almost turning like all those things that made Ethereum doing it first. It seems like the new normal. Everybody seems to be wanting rolling smart contracts, NFTs and stuff now. So if somebody else figures out how to do it, you know, obviously the fastest and cheapest, they could see a massive gain in, you know, user base.
Yep, absolutely.
It just all started with Ethereum, but right now, because, you know, you're the top dog, you kind of think you have your head in the clouds. You're just like, well, we can do this, we can do that. But, you know, if something, the underdog can come from behind and overtake the big guy. It can happen.
So I'm looking at, sorry, I'm trying to catch up with chat here. I've seen a couple of things come up in chat. One was, you know, Dennis Matovich basically says the bomb is controllable, so it just doesn't happen. It's programmed to happen. Yes, it's kind of pretty much just like flipping a switch at this point. They just need to reprogram it to be at a future date, or they could just turn it off if they wanted to. They could do either. This is one of the arguments they made, was if somebody wants to fork Ethereum, they could just very easily turn off that switch and not have it have this difficulty bomb. So it is still possible that somebody could create a fork off of Ethereum. And the devs have been very clear about that. Somebody wants to take up the mantle of saying, we're going to continue proof of work on something that is based upon Ethereum, like Ethereum Classic did way back when. Yeah, they can do that. Now the other thing I've been seeing here is 511. Like 511. Turn off ETH day. Dennis Matovich mentioned that. I don't know if he was making a proposal.
Oh, May 11th. Yeah, I never heard of that. May 11th, turn up.
I didn't hear anything about it. Although, like I said, he may just be proposing that here, saying, hey, I like this idea. All I can say is it won't make a hill of beans worth of difference. Certainly people could do it, but the farms are not going to shut off.
No,
the
like
ASICs are not going to shut off.
If 50% of the network turn off, then that's going to be a huge boost in profits to the other people. There's people that aren't going to do it. It's impossible to do. It just won't happen. Like, right,
exactly. And there's no way anybody's going to get a significant amount of hash rate enough to try to do, you know, a 51% attack or anything like that. So all it's going to do is just be a small little blip on the network, where it might increase or decrease block times a bit, if temporarily. But again, it won't really have that great of an effect.
Kind of like what we see here, where he was referring to how it corrected itself through hash rate. So these little blips here, as people were pulling away, you know, the difficulty bomb goes off, and over time, the blocks slow down, making Ethereum in general, you're finding less blocks per minute. Your rewards are going down. So another coin at that point becomes profitable. And that's where we see hash rate coming off and the difficulty bomb in here essentially actually going back down because of it. And some of these factors, they are taken into account of people leaving the network throughout this difficulty bomb.
Yep, that's exactly what was happening in those particular spots. Because, you know, back then, there was a lot more competition for hash rate than there is right now. I mean, the top dog is Ethereum. Overall, you're going to make more money. Now there's a card here, card there, that it probably is more, you know, more profitable to mine this for a certain period of time until everybody figures it out, and then it's not. But overall, your steady Eddy is basically your Ethereum. So you won't see those kind of saw blades. You won't see that as much this go around.
Yeah, for sure. Craziness.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we at on everything now? Anything in the chat? Anybody have any questions? We pretty much know how the dev call went through, so I don't know if we really have to watch more or not. Unless you guys want to, we can continue it on if you want. But pretty much, you know, the bomb went off. We'll start feeling it. Now, there's a lot of people, you guys don't realize how that works. Let's just actually look right here. So is this the current block height right now? I don't even know. What block height are we on? Anyone know? Does this look right?
It's probably the current block.
So let's just say 100,000 from now. Blocks. That don't seem right at all. February.
Yeah,
We're
but
in
that's
the wrong
just,
block.
that is just going to show DAG size. It won't show a block time it would be.
No, it shows estimated block date. So we can take a they're
got
saying
it,
we're
got it.
gonna feel this, sometime in May. So if we put
Mhm.
an extra 100,000 blocks in from right now,
Right. I see what you're doing.
it didn't change though. That's what I'm saying. Something's not going on. This worked before the stream, and now it's not changing. Oh, I'm putting in the wrong number. We're going back to time 7. There we go. That makes more sense. You got to put in the proper numbers here for it to work. All right. So like they said, May 15th is 100,000 blocks. This is when they're predicting, we're going to start feeling this. The block times are going to start going up. It's going to take longer for miners to find those blocks. So this is when we're going to feel it, type of thing. So after that, let's say you double it again. So now we're going to go to 8. So when's the next time we feel it? May 30th. So middle of May, end of May. And they said when we really start to feel, it'll probably be middle of June. So I'm assuming that would be that third type of thing. So what are we going to be here? Around June 14th? Is that when we're going to be, around the 21, 22 second type of time frame?
I got the impression from what he was saying, be end of June is what the prediction is. But again, it's very, very hard to predict, because is there going to be any hash rate fall off? Because if there's hash rate fall off, it will decrease that difficulty bomb effect, because that difficulty, the normal difficulty, will be decreasing. So that's why the one guy says, he's like, I don't like to predict the future. I like to basically state when the difficulty bomb starts. And that's what he was throwing up a flare, throwing up a red flag, saying, hello, look at me. Bomb's already off. Look at past history. You can see when it starts to go off, and when it, they can look at all of the previous examples. It's not math at that point, but you can look at the previous examples to say, how long is it going to take to get to whatever the block time is that we're uncomfortable with?
Yeah, let's have a look here.
Nobody seems to be doing that, but he's trying to tell people to do that.
The peak of this right here is April 14th. It looks like it slowly starts going up, and then it peaked September. So April till September to get to 30 seconds.
Yep.
And then here, this one looks like it went
they
a
don't
little
want it to
quicker.
be 30 seconds.
No, they don't want that. So December 29th, actually, it's probably started in here. So November 27th to February. That one almost seems a little bit quicker, doesn't it?
No, I don't think so. It's hard. I mean, trying to look at this and
figure it out. I don't know. Because we're going from December 15th to,
no, it's about the same.
Actually, never mind. That's because it's so small. This only went to 20 seconds. This is the 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally mentality there.
But again, all of them are going to be slightly different. And then you can kind of take the average to say, okay, how long did it take to get to, and again, it's figure out what the block time that you're uncomfortable with. What is that point at which you're saying, I can't have it go any further? Now, as he said, that number probably changes if, you get to that number, you predict that it's going to be at that number, you back into, okay, 3 weeks out, we need to be here. That's fine. You have up until that day of saying 3 weeks out from that point. Now we're going to start the clock on the hard fork to get rid of the difficulty bomb. That's fine. If you get to that date and you're like, no, we're so much closer to the merge, we're comfortable now with it going to 20 seconds, for example. That's fine. What date is that? Okay, let's revisit it on this date now, because now our goal is now, instead of 18 seconds, it's 20 seconds. People understand that number may change, but where we are today, what are you comfortable with? Based on the information we have, set that. And what is the drop dead date for making a call and to say 3 weeks from this day is going to be the difficulty bomb delay?
And that makes sense.
You can keep kicking the can down the road to say, but it's not really kicking the can down the road. You have a plan. You have a plan. At this point, with what we have, this is the day where we have to make the actual call to say, yes, we're gonna set the date 3 weeks from today. If testing goes great and we feel like we're getting so close, when you get to that date, you go, never mind. we're only 2 weeks or further out from where we're going to set the merge. And remember, the merge, the date, this is the other thing. I just thought of this now. The date for the merge, they've said they need to set it 2 months out. So in this podcast, Tim Biko said, everybody will get a 2-month warning, because we need to set the everything in motion, including getting all the nodes up to date. Everything has to be in place for the merge to happen. So they said that 2 months is that time frame. Well, the time frame for resetting the difficulty bomb is a much shorter time frame. It's only 3 weeks. So if you haven't set that time frame, when you get to that 3 weeks, well, you're not really that much closer at this point, or certainly not close enough to set the date. So I don't know. I'm sure I haven't gone into the Ethereum Discord channel to look at the merge and see what's been talked about. I'll be doing that actually before. I'll plug our stream for tonight. Tonight's stream, I will be looking at that, and we'll talk about that tonight of what I find out within the Ethereum Discord server regarding anything that they talked about since the All Core Devs call. But that is at usually somewhere around 8:30, 8:45 Central Time, 9:30, 9:45 or so Eastern Time. So don't miss it. I recognize a lot of people here, so I'm sure a lot of people will be there tonight as well.
That makes me wonder, is that going to be a public 2-month date, or what if it's all behind the scenes and public wise, as a miner standpoint, they just drop it?
It's got to be. No, it's going to be public. It's going to be very public, because they need to get the word out. They need to make sure everybody's nodes are done. It's when you operate nodes, you got to make sure that every single person knows that they have to be up to date. Otherwise, they're going to be offline and going to get slashed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they kind of went through stuff like that actually in that call, where what if people boot up and they don't realize that it's not connecting, but it looks like it might be, without checking logs and type of stuff. But
right.
Yeah. But going back and looking at this, looks like middle of December, took about 2 months to hit that. So here we can see just February 11th to hit that 22nd mark, which is about what they're saying, middle of June, end of June. 2 months from April. You think this may have been gone off about a week or two ago? So middle of the month, exactly 2 months is coming into that June standpoint. So we'll be around 20 seconds mid-June-ish. So there's maybe a timeline we can kind of look forward to. Rewards are going to be dropping within this until they actually do extend this. Is it going to be extended? I really do think things are going to be extended at this point. I'm sure you're probably thinking the same thing.
Yes, I am. And here's the thing. So why are they doing this? Why, especially, again, as I said before, Tim Biko seems to have the final say in everything. He'll deny that, but if you listen to the calls, he will say, okay, so from what I'm hearing, we're going to do this. Anybody disagree? Nobody's going to speak up. Nobody. And then that becomes the decision. I mean, he could say, so everybody says that the sky is I don't know, yellow all the time. Anybody disagree? Nobody would say anything. I mean, I'm just saying I know I'm taking it to extreme, but that's pretty much the way I've heard decisions get made over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying Tim isn't taking people's opinions into account, but he's also looking at everything and saying he wants it to go this direction. He then says that, which a bunch of people I've heard have disagreed with what he had said, up to like, hey, let's have a discussion about this. And there's like 3 people that are like, no, we should do this. We shouldn't do this. And then there'll be some people that will support what Tim really wants to support. And then he'll be like, so this is what I'm hearing. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, there were 3 people that disagreed with that. But those 3 people aren't willing to die on a hill. So they keep quiet. That's kind of how they get consensus on decisions. So again, I'm just looking at it from what I've seen from listening to a lot of these calls.
A lot of these calls. That's why you're the network master. You know what's going on.
Go that far.
The research is there.
But anyway, I've said all along, it sucks that they're going proof of stake. No miner really wants that to happen, but this is going to be fascinating, and I'm looking forward to seeing just how this all plays out, because it needs to be a reality show, honestly. It's at least to me, to mining geeks and blockchain geeks like us. Yeah, I just think it's completely fascinating.
Hey, for all we know, Netflix is already filming.
I can only hope. I can only hope.
Post-merge, the documentary.
Right.
Someone has Jeff Baker wants to know any word on why Hive went from a 0.1 payout to a 0.2 payout. I heard they just dropped it to 0.1. Did they go back up to 0.2 again? I have not used it for a while. But you can pay your own gas fees and get it a lot less at the same time.
Correct. You still, so here's where I think they did. So, okay, so they were paying everybody's transactions fees. That money didn't come from nowhere. It didn't come from nowhere. They had to pay it themselves. And it's like insurance. So you pay insurance a lot of money for whatever type of insurance you have. And 9 times out of 10, well, more than that, it's like 99 times out of 100, you will pay more into the program than you're going to get out. It's the same thing with this. In this particular case, they've got to put that money out there, but they have to make sure that they have enough money to cover all that. Well, they have to make sure that they have to overcompensate is what I'm saying. They have to make sure that they never get into a situation where they don't have enough money to pay everybody's transactions fees. So the money was coming from somewhere, leading to lower profitability. I've been saying it all along. Friends don't let friends mine on Hivon. And that's the reason why. It's because the profitability was lower. Why was it lower? Because they paid all the transaction fees. So I never said that to be like a jerk to Hivon. I was saying it because that's what reality was. Now, with them changing this, I really am interested to see if their profitability goes up. I think that's why they made the move, is to say, okay, word's getting out that we're not profitable. So let's make this change, become more profitable, start growing before we actually head into the merge. That's what my thought of it is. I give them kudos for making the change. I think it's a good change. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I had a lot of issues when I used Hivon before. Like, I use any other pool, my stale rate would be, well, actually, I can look at everything right now. I'm on FlexPool currently. If I bring it up, like I have 0 invalids, I'm 0.6. So obviously, anything under 2%, 1% even on stales is pretty good. Also depends on your network. But when using Hivon, I was getting like 3% rejected, and I was around like 2 or 3% stales. I was like, what's going on here? I was messed with my cards for a long time, and I was like, what's going on? I just switched pools. All my problems went away, and it only happened on the Hivon pool, and I've never touched them ever since. So I don't know, but that's all I could narrow it down to.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I saw the same thing. And what got me was when people would question them in Discord or in forums, they're like, it's your network. That's the problem. That was always their answer. And it could be their network, but when you're comparing two pools and one has horrible stales and the other one has much better stale rate, then it's not the network.
Yeah, like any other pool would be fine. It was
and it could be still the network. It could be the path to the pool that you particularly have, but not when you hear it so many times where people have that same experience.
Yeah. And there's another thing. I actually got a DM earlier with a screenshot, which I can't bring up now because it'll mess up the whole stream thing and minimize it and everything. But did you hear about Ethermine is actually promoting the merge as they wish it was the next hard fork? Did you see that? They posted that in their own Discord. Someone sent me a screenshot of it.
Because they're promoting their staking pools.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot more sense now. I totally forgot they're doing that. But yeah, pretty much said the next hard fork should just be the merge. Just get it over with already is pretty much what they said in an announcement type of thing.
Yeah, they're ready to go. They have all the staking pools already lined up. They want to grow their staking pool market, and that's why they're like, "Hey, let's go, let's go." Plus, they have a lot more competition than they've had in the past from other mining pools.
So it makes a lot of sense. I totally forgot about they do that staking thing.
Yep, we'll have a lot less competition with that.
How much Ethereum do you think the devs are holding themselves?
Oh, I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, I forget what the numbers are as far as how much pre-mine there was.
Yeah, and
how
then
much, and I know it's all documented somewhere as far as how much the foundation was holding and all that kind of stuff is out there. I don't know what the numbers are though.
no, I'm just wondering because sometimes to kind of bring this up, I'm not saying there's any truth to it whatsoever, but obviously as a user, like they're saying, you know, pre 1559, after 1559, gas fees high, deflationary, fee burns, all this. Deflationary, it's better. But in theory, they're trying to push POS. They have a massive amount of Ethereum. So obviously they're going to make a lot of money at POS for staking.
But but honestly, that's not a bad thing.
No,
I mean, that's
but
the thing. Yes, they have a lot of it, but it's not a bad thing. They are trying to drive the what's best for the coin, which means raising the value of it. That because your customers are not us, miners aren't. We're not their customers. Their customers are the people that hold the coins. It's no different than a CEO getting stock options, and he gets a lot more stock options when he does well than when he does bad. The reason why is because you want to incentivize the CEO, and hopefully companies will be more willing to give stock options to their employees, because the more you incentivize people to do the right thing, that should drive up the stock, and it's what's best for stockholders. So in this case, what's best for coin holders? Yeah, the devs should be doing what's best for coin holders because they're also coin holders.
Oh, for sure. But I wanted to get into the whole conspiracy side first. You didn't let me finish.
Let me put on my tinfoil hat.
You didn't let me finish. You just took over.
Okay.
No, but okay, let's look at it a different way here, which I'm not saying there's any truth to it, but obviously the devs have all this ETH. You know, obviously the more people that burn their ETH, you know, the higher value in theory, the price goes up more, making them more money. So pretty much them adding all these gas fee burns and potentially having larger block sizes is a chance to burn a lot more ETH, making their bags higher, impacting the users who use their network, kind of like how the governments work today. Is that like a conspiracy thing and a half?
Yeah, it is. But the problem with that is again, you're driving customers towards another network that operates better. And right now there isn't a lot of options to go to somewhere else for Ethereum, but there are options. So yes, you're just driving people away, which is bad. It's like, yes, that's like a company saying we're going to buy back our stock because it'll drive up the price of the stock. Yes, it will. But if you ignore all your customers and what they need, then your stock's still going to go down no matter how much stock you buy back.
Yeah.
So that's the burn is the stock buyback, and servicing your customers with longer block times is a huge negative. So yeah, you can't have one without the other. Yeah, it still would inevitably be a bad thing, even though it would burn more ETH, but people would, your users are going to be pissed.
100%, especially because I wanted to send $20 worth of ETH, and you know that one guy that spent like what 100,000 to send $20.
Yeah.
But I think that was more of a MetaMask issue or something. Wasn't that more of like a slippage issue or somebody setting something wrong or something?
I don't know. I know that there were some problems recently with MetaMask. I'm not a MetaMask user. I'm not in DeFi. I don't do any of that. But
me neither.
But I know when I transfer everything either into Litecoin or Cardano. 99% of the time, that's what I transfer.
Yes, me too. Litecoin's like my go-to for moving tokens anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Litecoin's awesome.
Yep. Works well.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I had a great point there. Where are you? Pioneer. Alexander Fleener. Yeah, what's your position on the whole decentralization of POS when it comes to Ethereum? Like, how decentralized do you think this is going to be? Because it does look like, obviously, if you have a lot of money, you can make this thing centralized.
That is a can of worms. But yes, let me think about that for a second, because I have a lot of thoughts.
How am I going to answer this?
Yeah, exactly. So yes, basically, if everybody is going to run their nodes on a VPS, a virtual private server, yes, you're going to end up centralizing it with the major providers of VPSs. That's what's going to happen. Now, what I find very interesting is they've now started to push hey, guess what? You can run an Ethereum node on a Raspberry Pi out of your own home. You know, they're starting to push that. The problem is that the slashing that can take place is much worse than, say, on, for instance, Flux. Flux, yes, I'm running a staking a node. It's not really a staking node per se, but it is kind of like a staking node. But I'm running a node out of my house on the Flux network. What happens when my node goes down, which happened this week? That's a whole nother story. News at 8:45 tonight. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, but you know, my only penalty is that I go to the end of the line. So the way that Flux operates their nodes is you're not competing, it's round robin. So you're in a line. So you're in line with everybody. You're just going up. They take the next customer for the next block. That guy gets his block. He goes to the end of the line. So same thing. So but the problem is that if you get to, I think I was at about 1400, basically 2 days away from my next block. And right now it's 11 days per block on Cumulus nodes. Yeah, I get put to the back of the line because my node went down. I'm having an issue with whenever it does an automatic update, it doesn't come back up. Anyway, now that I know what's going on, I may look at some things, but anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms. But bottom line is that's not going to hurt you. You're not going to lose part of your stake. You know, Ethereum is slashing, you know, users if their Ethereum node is not providing the service that they're promising or that they're supposed to promise. So, and I know that they're kind of revisiting, I think, some of those things, but for right now, that's, from my understanding, that's the way it is. So yeah, running it on a Raspberry Pi out of my house and risking whether my internet goes down, my node goes down, all those types of things. Yeah, no thanks. I don't think I want to do that.
Thanks. I know. You saw that what they do on Twitch? They had that stream there in Denver a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of their things is like, we encourage people not to centralize. Like, what?
Yeah, but these are the same people that talk about game theory. Okay, game theory means you're going to do the thing that's most profitable for you.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Guess what? If you're going to do the thing that's most profitable for you, you're going to make darn sure that your node isn't going to go down so that you get the payouts as promised. So you make your 7 to 12% that you're going to make on your Ethereum node. That's what you're going to do. That's game theory. That's saying you're going to do what is in the best interest of you. That's what game theory is. Well, that's not running it on, for most people, that's not running it on a Raspberry Pi out of your house.
No, not at all.
So now you look at the Flux network, on the other hand, like I said, the penalty of your node going down, you don't lose any of your Flux. You just lose basically you just delay your next payout. That's what happens. Is it great? No, it's not great, but it's not going to hurt you that badly. And there was another point and I just lost it. But anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. And for me, I can't even run a home Flux node. I do not have the bandwidth to be able to handle it. So that sucks because I really wanted to put one together. So the only option I really have, I don't have any Flux. I got like 15 Flux, but one day maybe. But I will have to do a VPS myself because I don't have any other options.
Yeah. Hey, son of a tech, good to see you. Appreciate all your content. Been on fire lately. Appreciate it. But yeah, some people will run it on enterprise hardware from the farm. The only issue is, yes, you have it on that, but is your network redundant? And some people that are more in your realm will have backups, but that's not going to be the vast majority of people. You know, I'm running this node out of my house because the Raspberry Pi, because I thought it'd be interesting. I thought it'd be fun. It's not that expensive to buy. It was like $250 the way I did it. And I did it kind of like the Mercedes way as far as the Raspberry Pi goes. But it was for fun. It was because it was interesting. You know, we all kind of most of us get into this because we find this technology interesting and we have fun tinkering and basically playing with it. I mean, this is our playground. This is our playground. So, but when you're into 32 ETH in order to run a node, come on. Yeah. Now it's pricey. Business. You got to make sure that 32 ETH is working for you. and you can't afford to get slashed and all those kinds of things. So
remember, they said it's cheap for everybody because you can just get together with your friends and, you know, jump in a shared node.
I mean, you can, but again, that becomes complicated. You have to have a good business arrangement. You may need to make sure there's documentation, all that kind of stuff, because yeah, I trust a lot of people in this community, but I would stress to anybody that's thinking about doing that you make sure you have your ducks in a row with documentation, because you don't want anybody stealing anybody else's ETH.
Yeah, that was more.
I go back because I know Son of a Tech has actually told this story before, where he was doing, I believe it was mining pools, and yes, he had a problem, and he had to make sure he made everybody whole, but he lost a lot of his profits that way. So he, at that point, he got out of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Son of a Tech, but that's the story I remember you telling. So yeah, not everybody is going to be like that, though. They're going to say, look, I need to make my profit, and yeah, okay, I'll give you some back, kind of like what NiceHash did. Yeah, we'll pay most of it back.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll just forget about it. Oh, you didn't forget about it. Okay, fine. A year and a half later, we'll finally pay you back the rest.
Yeah. That was more a cheap shot about the whole not being centralized thing.
Yeah, no, I know. And my point is, the way it's structured, Ethereum is going to be centralized with just because of the way they've structured their nodes. I remember what the other point was. So with Flux, they have made comments about this. There's nothing official as far as I know, but they said they're going to be providing additional incentives for people who do run their Flux nodes out of their house.
Oh yeah, I do remember you saying something about that a while back.
Yeah, so I'm looking for when that is. I mean, I think they're trying to figure that out, but they're trying to figure out a lot of things. They've got so much going on in that project. I'm very, very high on Flux. I think they got a lot of great people that are working on it. It's not just marketing, it's technology. Having those two things both are working together. Very excited to see where that project goes. They've got so many irons in the fire. It's going to be exciting.
Let's hope. What's going on, Son of a Tech? I know you've been here for a little bit now, but Max Voltage has been talking away like crazy. I'm just kidding. So what else we got going on? Do we have questions or anything happening? Sup miners late to the party? Master Chief, yes, welcome. Welcome to the party. 007 Mining Tactics, talking to Son of a Tech. And that. So going back to where he's talking about running nodes, it's fun. That's, the main reason why I kind of put my server computer together, because I wanted to try nodes, test it. For example, there's certain coins that you can really only mine if you're running that. I do have a Duro node up and running. I haven't started mining yet. I believe, Son, you've been mining that for a while. Maybe you have some insight to that for people. What's the profitability and stuff? But I haven't begun mining it or anything yet. But I do have my node up and running. A couple other things like Yatacoin, to solo mine it, you got to run your own node. So I got one of those running as well. And it's just a lot of fun putting, these little things together and seeing what you can do with it. So that's a main reason for that. Yeah, good old Duro. What do you got going on with that, Son? Are you mastering it yet? Not profitable, but really dope tech. Hey, that's a good side. Dope tech. If you're in it for the tech, it's the way to roll. It is cool, though, how you got to kind of do everything. Because what is it? Like originally, they hard forked over to Stargate, I believe. So all the mining pools are offline. There's a couple public nodes you can mine to. But it's like 9%. So you're paying a 9% dev fee. So to kind of issue decentralization, they want people to run their own nodes and then mine to your own node. And then you're kind of getting rid of that dev fee and getting a 0% because it's all going to your own wallet as long as you set it up right. So very interesting. Yeah, 9% pool OP fee. That's crazy. 9%. Craziness. Absolutely crazy. 50 cents per 100 kilohertz. Oh my gosh, you serious? That's it? I don't even know what hash rates are, so I don't even know what a CPU will do. I have not tried it yet, but what's the hash rate on something? You have that 5800X 3D. What's the hash rate of that thing on Duro? I don't even know. I have no idea. I wouldn't say a node OP is a dev. 5800X equals 72 kilohash. So under 50 cents a day on a 5800X. Craziness. It's not too great, I guess. Some people were saying that things. What?
I was gonna say, going back up in chat. Sorry. Pro Rival was saying first hour summary. Yeah, I'll put it kind of like my 15-second short that I put out yesterday. Yeah, the difficulty bomb has gone off. It's just gone off, and it's exponential, so you're barely going to notice it, but in a couple of weeks you'll start noticing it a little bit more. You could actually notice it in your Ethereum revenue right now. I've noticed a small change. I was making like 0.028 for a gigahash, or for 2 gigahash, and now it's like less than 0.028. It's like 0.027 to 275 in that range. So definitely have noticed a little bit of a change, and it will continue to get worse. The Ethereum core devs have basically kicked the can down the road to talk about it in another 2 weeks. They're afraid to set a date as to if and when they're going to extend the difficulty bomb. They can't even decide the length of time that they're comfortable with on the difficulty bomb. Yeah, it was don't listen to the call. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. So that's the summary from the first part.
Oh, right on. So Rud Putz is like, you have a site for that? I was asking Son of Tech about Duro and stuff. Yes, if some of you guys are unaware about CPU mining and stuff, we do have the CPU mining calculator beta test on the website here. So we're working on, we need everyone's input. So submit your hash rates here. Just click on a little tab, fill out your CPU and stuff. But right now you already have to know your hash rates. Now we don't have Duro and some of the newer ones on here, but I'll just run through some quick 3900X numbers. So example, running efficiently, we're doing about 13,600 on a 3900X, but only utilizing about 109 watts full system. Minotaur X is, which one is that one? That one's Avian. So that's about 16,000. Ghost Riders about 3,555, not a 2. Let's put that in there. Kryptonite Haven, you're doing about 1,200 here. Curve Hash, that is about 90,000 hash rates as of the latest miner update. We're getting about 32 megabytes on Verus. And then this is your turtle coin. So it's about 16,000, I think it was. Hit the calculate button, and now it'll pop up it updates every 15 minutes, and it'll kind of give you your CPU mining calculator. Once we get enough data in for everything, we are going to be adding tabs into this. So instead of just putting everything in, obviously it'll be like what to mine, where your 3900X, just click the button and everything will autofill. But we need all the data for various CPUs to make this happen, on top of new coins, and everything got to be added into the database as well. So I just want to throw that out there. So some of you CPU miners out there. And Son of a Tech also brought up BTM, you know, the profitable one right now, which is for sure going to be a pump and dump, and he mentions BTM. So some of you guys are unfamiliar with BTM. That's a Raptorium straight up fork. They have been having issues with their network where a certain amount of hash rate hits or an algorithm hit, the network would go down for like anywhere from 2 to 6 hours at a time until someone actually finds a solo block by mining through the wallet and jump starts the chain to work again. So it kind of sucks, but it looks like they did fix that lately. And currently it's a low hash rate type of coin. It's sitting anywhere from 3 to 6 mega hash on the network. Early Raptorium days, smart nodes are in there. They're having issues currently with some smart nodes getting paid their rewards for free without actually having them reachable online. So allegedly they're working on a fix for that, but everything is early Raptorium days. Pump and dump could probably most likely happen, but it is looking very profitable right now where CPUs are hanging in, at least for my farm with my 8 3900Xs, 2 3950Xs, and my 1 5950X, about anywhere from $16 to $24 a day, depending on the day. So it's a fairly profitable coin right now. Just will it hold value in the future? You know, that's the really iffy part. But you know, you can at least sell it and make profit right now. So point that out there. So if we all jumped off this month, the block times escalate. BTM pump and dump, fully electric miners. It's pretty gross. What do we got here? I'm very low hash rate to pump and dump, but a heads up. Yeah. So, you know, it's profitable right now. Is it going to be, you know, something in a couple of years from now? We don't know. We have no idea. It might fall off and die. It might disappear. It could rug pull. It could build and be something way too soon. 100% spec mining. But if you want to try it out, you know, give it a shot, sell it as soon as you get it if you want, and you can make some profit there. This device is on Amazon for anyone who wants to switch to 220 to 240 volt and mine on. What is that? What are you talking about? 00 mining tactics.
It's probably not allowed to do a link, so it probably cut it out.
Oh, possibly. Still like GPUs profits dropped, but so did the coin. Speaking of GPUs, I was looking on Kijiji today for my local area. Look at the 3090s. This guy's selling an MSI 3090 Ventus 3X 24G for $1,900. That is cheaper than an MSRP Founders Edition. It's like, what? That's crazy. If you go into Best Buy right here and you look at a 3090 Founders Edition, $2,049. This is Canadian prices, so you guys in the USA right now that probably just had a heart attack or something, it's because this is Canada. So the prices are a little bit higher, a lot higher. We get ripped off and everything. But GPU prices are definitely on the way down. Now, does that mean it's a good idea to go out there and spend $40,000 on rigs? Probably not. Probably not a good idea, but it is making things a lot more appealing to people. So you got to keep that in mind. You know, maybe picking up a couple cards here and there is okay, but spending out, you know, taking out loans to build a huge mining farm at this point might not be a good idea, because after Ethereum, you know, these 3090s on the used market could probably be going for 50% less. People will be selling hardware. This is going to happen. You could ~3 your entire farms for the same price of, you know, doubling it right now. So keep that in mind too.
Think of it this way though as well. So you have, what do we have coming up? They're talking about releasing in August timeframe, September timeframe, the 4000 series.
Yes,
so
we also have that.
Think about what happened to people that bought 2080 Ti's just before the 3080s, 3090s got. I mean, those $1,200-$1,300 cards were like drastically dropped in price on the open market. Nobody wanted them. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. The other thing is, you know, this is a strategy I'm taking. I haven't had an opportunity yet, but is to buy non-hash rate FE models from NVIDIA and then sell any of the other comparable cards. So I'm not looking to increase my number of cards. I'm looking to change the cards and hopefully do a very, very slight, it cost me very little, hopefully not at all, to change from one to the other so I can increase my hash rate a bit.
Yeah, you could do that. Or some people might use this opportunity to run a little more efficient. Like a long time ago, I did purchase, like it was a couple summers ago, I got like 12 RX 580, 8 gigabytes mixed with 4 gigabyte cards. And I got two motherboards, 4 power supplies, rack, everything, complete system. This was before, you know, the last bull run. I got the whole thing for like $1,300 Canadian. That's like $900 US. That's, you know, absolutely cheap. And then I pretty much, when all the prices and everything went up, I sold all those 580s, and I just pretty much, I sold them because the prices went up, purchased 3060 Ti's and stuff, non-LHR, because LHR wasn't a thing yet. And I got the same amount of hash rate of it, but I increased that efficiency by doing so. So people could be looking to move more efficient in this type of process as well.
Yeah, Son of a Tech makes a good point. The RTX 4000 series might not be viable for mining. I think time will tell on that. Certainly for Ethereum mining, it's not going to be any better. It's going to be very similar to, you know, what we saw with the Radeon cards from the 5000 series to the 6000 series. You didn't really see an increase because it's all based on memory speed. And I don't think the 4000 series is going to be really any faster as far as memory speed for Ethereum. Again, theoretically, by the time the 4000 series comes out, that'll, you know, Ethereum will have moved to proof of stake at that point, so it won't even be a factor. But for those memory intensive algorithms, yeah, the 4000 series probably won't do any better. Yeah, Intel Arc, obviously someone's gonna have to build miners for that, just like you have separate ones for NVIDIA and AMD. Somebody's going to have to design the miners for that. So that'll be interesting. That's going to take some time.
And the drivers.
Well. He does also say, yeah, the 60 whatever 50 XT refresh, yeah, they increase the memory speeds on those. So those will actually be better miners.
Yeah.
And I say specifically the memory speeds that have been increased.
Yeah, very sure. Very, very much for sure. What was the other thing also? Yeah. What GPU is it that they've been testing? Like Rud Putt said right there. I saw the article, but I didn't read it. 900 watts GPU. What? Like 1200 watt power supplies, throw them in the garbage. Like,
right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I've been hearing the general stories of, yes, the new was it Lovelace, I believe is what the series is called.
Yeah, Lovelace, yep.
That they're going to just have huge power requirements. So I haven't looked at anything specific though.
That's crazy. That's insane. Like 900 watts. Like someone there, 4090 says 650 watt IRC. Which one? 4090 Ti top model, only the 900 watt, but the real concern is the ATX 3.0 standard. Reminding that means upgrading all your power supplies. Yeah, so they had new pins. Power supplies are coming out with these new things and everything. So yeah, just like Son of a Tech just said, that you have to update everything just to be able to turn these things on. So
I was laughing at Making Statements comment. You're going to need a 30 amp circuit to play Fortnite.
Yeah, no doubt. These things are probably already banned in California. Like California, right. They're not being sold there at all. Good luck.
That's a good point. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's California. Very true. That they may not be able to buy them there.
No, like I don't know what California's full, like how they're doing it. Like I think it's based on efficiency to how much is it uses type of thing. But come on, this is a GPU that could hit 900 watts. There's no way you can put efficiency and that in the same sentence.
You know, honestly, what you could have, I mean, think about it this way. Are cars really that much different that are sold in California versus the rest of the country? No, there's probably a change in the software that makes it comply with the emission standards of California. So what could you do? You could change the BIOS in the newer models. You're selling in California, great. Then you're going to get this BIOS.
3090 California BIOS.
Yep.
Eco mode engaged for California, or California approved stamps on it or something. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Rude Puts, don't even get me started on nuclear. It's not that dangerous. It's become, depending on the technology, there is some technology that is extremely safe. Nuclear reactors could be self-moderating if they would just allow the technology to evolve, but everybody's freaked out about it, and therefore it's not a politically correct thing to fund or to be positive about. You don't even get me started. I could go on and on. The information I have on nuclear power, honestly, I got back in the 80s, and that's when that technology was the theory behind the technology was there, and it wasn't that hard to develop. The problem is it hasn't been allowed to develop because of Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island and all these things and all the scare around nuclear technology.
Hey,
it's technology like anything else.
I got the solution to it all. Haven't you guys played Sim City? Cold Fusion. Isn't that like the top end?
Yeah, then you're starting to get in more of the dangerous areas of
black holes
power.
And stuff.
Right.
Split. Son of a Tech has a point there. Look at, well, MSI for the new ATX 3.0 only has a 200 to 240 volt option. There are no 120 volt announcements yet for the ATX 3.0. So your next gaming rig, you're going to need at least 200 volt.
I need to become an electrician because, man, they're going to make bank on getting 240 volt circuits in everybody's houses.
I know, but that's crazy. But, you know, that brings me to another point. Like, I know there's Trudeau here in Canada. He has the big push by 2030 or something. 60% of all sales have to be, they are expecting to be all electric cars and stuff. And I was watching a news story here, and they're bringing to the point, like, the whole infrastructure everywhere is on, like, older lines and stuff. If somebody wants to, you know, charge a car, they got to upgrade to a 30 or 50 amp, depending on whatever, I guess, the battery or the car. Who knows? I don't know how it works, but they're going to need to update, you know, their breaker box stuff. And then it says if, you know, everyone on the street or if at least 3 or 4 people on their blocks decide to do that, they got to re-infrastructure everything just to support that much extra power output throughout cities and towns. And it's block based. So there's a whole bunch of more infrastructure that is not anywhere near prepared to be able to even support everybody having electric cars. So what's going to go on? Obviously, consumers are going to get result of that by increased power prices for updating infrastructure. So is it going to be worth everyone running electric cars at this point if everything's going up like that? Can I see what's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, more and more people get electric cars, but they all need 50 amp circuits in their house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I called the other day, and they brought that same point to my thing, because I only have 100 amp running through the house. It's like a 3,500 square foot house, but it's only got a 100 amp breaker. So we called the power company. I'm like, can I get 200 or 400 amp put in? Said, yeah, we can look into it for sure to see what our actual service is. It's underground lines too. So if you have to upgrade the service, you got to dig everything up, and obviously that's going to be way too expensive not doing that. But if
it's a couple thousand.
If we already have it coming in, it's like 30 or 40,000, I think, to get it done. Because they got to rip up all the ground, like all the way like a half a block down through the neighbor's yard too, to the next box that comes in underground here. But
yours might be a little bit different situation. Mine, I live in a subdivision, so for me, it's a couple grand to get mine up from 100 to 200 amp service.
Oh, overhead power lines is like 90% cheaper though if your lines are overhead.
Yeah, mine's not overhead, mine's underground as well. But
okay.
Ours, when they built our subdivision, some people had 200 amp service, some people had 100 amp service. So I think actually the underground part of it is probably still fine. It's more about the wiring in the house, the actual box that was put in, all that kind of thing, and what the actual electric company. But I think in my particular case, I think everything underground probably would be compliant with 200 amp. It's more like putting in a compliant breaker box and then paying the utility to quote unquote upgrade, which basically flip a switch in their software to allow it to be 200 amp instead of 100 amp.
Interesting. Yeah, for sure. But like also depends on the service I have come in. But the whole electric car thing also brought me to this point here, because when I called them to see if we can upgrade, they said, yeah, sure. But they got to check into, the rest of the block. Do they have the power and the transformer capabilities to do so if, say, 2 or 3 other people wanted to upgrade as well? So this is where more things. So I got to wait back for them to do all their testing and checks and everything before I know. So I'm waiting for that call to come back, see if I can update. Another thing is too, the stepmother in town here, she actually also owns the curling rink, which has 3-phase power in it. So I'm like, she owns an entire curling rink. She turned it into like a thrift shop type of thing. A whole one back section's empty. So I was like, I should just throw a bunch of rigs and stuff in there and run off all this power. But
yeah, I definitely know you're Canadian when you said your stepmom owns a curling rink. You got any of those in Texas, son of a tech? Kind of doubt it.
Crazy. Oh, that's insane.
But yeah, I'm waiting to kind of make decisions to see what happens after the merge. I'm kind of being status quo, and then but the plans are, if we can still be profitable and it makes sense, probably replacing because I don't think we can have 2 outbuildings. We can only have 1. So I'm going to replace the current shed I've got, which is pretty small, and basically create 2 sheds, the one for the shed side and the other for the mining side, and then run electric to that.
Interesting. Coolio. Yeah, I'm definitely waiting to see what happens after Ethereum. It's going to be looking probably red for a little while. I have no issues shutting my GPUs off if need be. As hash rate comes off networks, as prices come up, future bull runs come, obviously that whole situation will change. But, I think it's way too early to start, thinking I'm going to go out and buy a bunch of GPUs because it's looking more feasible now. I don't think that's a smart mentality to have at this point in time. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Just basically, I mean, as we've talked about before, a number of YouTubers say this, like, hey, if you have money to burn, like literally you don't care if you light it on fire, then fine, go all hog. I mean, it's a hobby at that point. And it is a hobby for all of us to a certain extent, but at the same time, I don't know about you, but I've made a significant, I know you have, we've all made significant investments in this, and we don't want our significant investments to, completely crumble.
Oh, for
So
sure.
Rudputs is asking, where did the 5 terahash go from the RVN network? Honestly, I haven't really been paying much attention to Raven coin at all.
He's always been asking me that. I have no idea where it went. We saw some blips in Ergo, some blips in Ethereum Classic and stuff, but nothing worth of 5 terahash of Raven coin hash rate anywhere. So honestly, I don't know. It just vanished.
The only thing I can think of, because I haven't looked to see what the hash rate is on Flux, but I think of like, where is the excitement gone when people have said, what does everybody think is going to replace Ethereum for miners? And everybody focused on Raven coin. And now nobody seems to be really focusing on Raven coin. Now people are saying Ergo or Flux are kind of more things that people are talking about.
I think it's more wishful thinking.
It's just merged onto different projects.
Yeah. Spread out all over the place. Who knows? Who knows?
That would be my guess. And it's
for all we know, the next go-to coin, it might not even be here yet. For all we know, we don't know. But what is in the future? Something could come release, you know, mid next year, something out of nowhere and just explode. We don't know. So
yeah. I mean, if you go back to 2019 was no great shakes when it came to profitability. We'll go back to those times where it's like, it's profitable today. Barely profitable today. Okay, fine. I'll leave my rig on. Tomorrow it's not so profitable. Well, it averages out. No, not profitable at all. Okay, shut off. You know, those are going to be the conversations we're all having if everything stays the way it is right now.
For sure. But another conversation that may have to be looked into, it was talked about, you know, last year, a couple of years ago, actually, back when ETC was getting a lot of its 51% attacks. A big platform here, mining rig rentals and like, say, NiceHash platforms. People are like, I'll just go to NiceHash. I have no issues with that. But depending on how many people decide to take the easy route, just do a profit switch, move to NiceHash, we're opening up networks to potentially get attacks at that point, depending how many people actually move over to something like NiceHash.
Correct. I completely agree. The other part of it is that the more people that go over there, you're constantly chasing your tail. If you have, you know, 10% of the hash rate is moving from coin to coin to coin, well, every time it moves, the difficulty equation changes. So you're constantly, like I said, you're chasing your tail. So I'm kind of curious to see what again, these are going to be really interesting times. Exciting times. Like I said, the geek in all of us, you know, this is like, none of us can predict exactly what's going to happen. We can theorize, we can base it on current information, but we just don't know.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, but like I said, like just based on comments, people on Reddit, like a lot of people are saying, I'm just going to go to NiceHash, but I don't think there's a lot of people that don't realize, you know, the effects that could actually have on networks. And Ethereum Classic going through its, well, how would they have 4 or 5 attacks there is, you know, one of the aftermaths of it. It's still like 2 weeks to get a payout for mining Ethereum Classic. So it's crazy.
Yep.
That's it. What's this? Red Putt says that's a DJ Mine's advice. I don't know what he's referring to that though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know
NiceHash. So
DJ,
NiceHash
maybe, but yeah, DJ Mine's love him to death. Great YouTuber, very interesting. Man, he YOLOs it. It wouldn't be what I was doing, but he knows that's the way I feel about it. You know, we've talked, but yeah, I wish him the best of luck. I hope that all the risks he's taking right now pay off for him. Man, yeah, it would have my stomach in knots if I was doing what he was doing right now.
I don't even know what he's doing.
Again, fascinating to watch. Makes great content. You know, maybe the followers he's gaining by doing all of this will easily overtake what any losses he might have as a result. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to watch. If you have not subscribed to DJ Mines, I highly recommend it. Very entertaining and very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Yeah. So I don't, these other platforms there, but that's interesting how you point out about hash rate swings. Cause I kind of do that with my CPUs once in a while. Like I used to, until that profit calculator was made, I used to check like every day the networks, everything. Once the Raptorium and everything started coming down, and I've been following network hash rates through mining pool stats and being like, all right, look at that, it dropped like 10%. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. And I've been keeping my CPUs over at least $1 a day per CPU for the last, I don't even know, ever. But you know, there's a lot of people they just go out there, oh, I'm shutting it off. I'm shutting it off. Like CPU mining isn't like your GPUs where you point it at F, set it and forget it. You know, you got to do a little more work. And this is kind of the mentality you got to move into once Ethereum is gone, is mining is going to be a lot more work than it used to be, type of thing.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's it. Like I said, that's also kind of the fun of it. I know one of the things I'm looking at, I've talked about it before, I'm on variable rate power. Yeah, I'm probably going to get to the point where I'm going to try to automate it where I will mine only when the cost of electricity is below a certain point. So haven't really started getting into that, but what'll probably end up happening is the merge will happen and then I'll start looking into it. That's just kind of, I know how I operate.
Pretty much. Like, okay, what to mine? Okay, see ya. Off. And okay, don't need to do nothing today. It's still off.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be different. So we're gonna got any more last minute questions? We've been here actually for a little while. Stream was longer than usual, but that's okay. I don't see any ads at me. Anybody adding max voltage? Oh, I see a couple here. What do we got? You gonna say something?
I was not going to say anything. I see Rudpud say every day he was live then chatting about CPU mining. I'm not sure if he's talking about you or if he's talking about, I'm guessing he's talking about you. This is CPU mining. I don't think he was talking about DJ mines. I thought maybe that was what he was talking about.
Not sure. Fully Electric says something about in the USA, there's a infrastructure bill that will upgrade the infrastructure throughout the US. We pay in tax like everyone else. So that must have been back when we were talking about power and block cities and, you know, infrastructure needing upgradings to support all this other stuff. Who is modding this? Pearl Rival. What do you mean, who is modding this? I see Aragon Strider's there, so he's a mod. We got Mr. Oh, where's the button? Where's my button? There it is. Fudweiser. He's got a wrench beside his name. I got this other crazy one here. I don't know what to say with it though. I'll just say whatever.
We got this crazy voice here, so I don't know what you guys think about this one, but it's fun.
Does that would work? We usually talk about NVIDIA and bad. That's the bad NVIDIA voice whenever NVIDIA does something dumb. We got lots of other ones. We got this one here. Oh, this is a fun one.
Hello, this is Ethereum back from the dead. We used to be mineable. Now you can.
So we kind of got that one. You know, we got all sorts of fun stuff.
Is that part of your microphone software, or is that part of like a Stream Deck or something?
That's part of the Stream Deck. Actually, which one is that? Part of Voice Mod. And then plugged into the Steam Deck, and then we got all sorts of sound effects and rewind buttons. Like if I really mess something up, I say, whoa, rewind. And then start over. Yeah, anyway. Fun stuff. Buttons to push. And it's really bad when I hit the wrong buttons at the wrong time. And yeah, things don't make sense at that point. But yeah, I guess we're going to wrap this one up, everybody. So thank you very much for showing up. We've been here for quite some time. Any last minute thoughts? Be sure to hit that comment section. Be sure to subscribe to Max Voltage, obviously. I think I got a link right here. Yes. Subscribe to Max Voltage. Do that.
Oh, two things. One is don't forget about tonight. We have the Misfit Mining podcast live stream, whatever you want to call it, at 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. is when we start Central Time, as well as I didn't talk about this earlier, but do not forget, I have a live stream myself, Mondays with Max, on Monday nights at usually somewhere between 7 and 7:30. I've been kind of playing around with the time a little bit, but I've been averaging about starting around 7:15. So check it out every Monday night.
There you go. Check out Max on Mondays and Misfit Mining Saturday nights. Tonight is the next one. going over some more Ethereum stuff, I'm assuming, probably, and other stuff.
Yep. Amongst other stuff, we'll probably talk a little bit about Flux. I know there's been some comments about Flux. Be talking about my latest Flux node issues that I had and what I've learned along the way. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight as well.
Awesome. All right, guys. So you guys go check them out tonight, and I will see you guys on the next one. Rabid